What is going on, guys? My name is Will, but you can call me Tate. And the summer coaster season is starting to wind down. Parks are starting to prepare for their haunt events, and I cannot lie, I've had an absolutely amazing summer. If you've been following the channel, you saw I got to go out to California and get back to California's Great America, one of my favorite parks. Then I got to go to Cedar Point and do Siren's Curse and Top Thrill 2 a few times. Then I got to go out of the country and go to La Ronde when I was in Canada, which was a criminally underrated park. But I've also gone to some smaller parks like Holiday World, Michigan's Adventure for my first time, and Waldameer, where I got to ride Ravine Flyer 2, which I'm rocking today. Well, today, I am back at a place a little more familiar. I have over 100 visits to this park, of course, because I went to school in Cincinnati, 30 minutes down the road. But today is one of my favorite days of the coaster season, and it is the day that Kings Island is closed to the public because a company called Procter & Gamble, a huge company, you guys have probably heard of some of their products like, you know, Gain and Tide laundry detergent and Gillette and like Charmin bath tissue, things like that. But that company is such a huge part of why Cincinnati is the way that it is, and they buy the park out for a weekend. So no, I don't work there, but I have friends from going to college in Cincinnati who either work at Procter & Gamble or have family who work in Procter & Gamble. So I've got my page, I've got my ticket, let's get in the park. So of course there's our entrance with the P&G banner, and we'll see some more P&G decorations inside. But they've got this tent out towards the entrance where their workers, they can get like a bag of their latest and greatest, you know, things that have come out on the market. So let's get in the park. And we are in the absolute best day to be at Kings Island. Let's walk and let's see some of these decorations. So of course we've got the Charmin bear there and a giant inflatable tub of Cascade. Then we've got the Dawn dish soap here and a funny inflatable Pepto-Bismol bottle. And then we've got Glide back there. And yeah, so just some of the brands that this huge company owns. So like I was saying, this takes place between the normal end of season for Kings Island and before their haunt starts. So you can see them sort of setting up some of the haunt decorations and attractions. So they're not quite open yet, but yeah, they're in the middle of setting them up. Well, in one of my earlier vlogs this year, I said there was a day that I hoped I would have lost enough weight to be able to get back on all of our B&M coasters. And that day was today. I just tried the test seat and I fit without any help. It has been since the end of the season in 2021 that I have been able to get back on this ride, and I just fit in the test seat. I am so excited. Let's get on. If you saw my La Ronde vlog, then you saw that I was able to fit on that B&M Hyper. That was actually the first, that music's really loud. That was the first B&M Hyper model I was able to fit in since 2022 when I rode Fury at Winterfest in Carowinds, which, you know, the Hyper, it's a Giga, but it's still called the Hyper model by B&M. So at La Ronde earlier this year, that was the first time I've been able to get back on one of these. And I was like, I hope I can get back on Orion later this year. And yeah, I'm excited. It's been almost 4 years and I absolutely love this ride. So for the first time since 2021, got back on my favorite ride here at Kings Island. I'm gonna turn you around because they are sending this thing at interval. You would think, you know, oh, the park's been bought out, they don't expect a lot of guests. It's not gonna be running efficiently. They've got all 3 trains, and let me show you how fast they're sending them out. All right, so this train just dispatched. The other train is just now going over that tall airtime hill. We did not stop right behind the station. We went right into the station. That is how fast they are sending trains out. I mean, that is absolutely amazing. Both sides of race are open as well with 2 trains. I mean, I don't know if that's in the contract when P&G buys the park. They're like, hey, I need it to operate like a normal day, but let's get back in line. Look at how empty this train is. There's only 2 people in the front row. And the rest is empty. I cannot believe it. I forgot to say the time is about 5 o'clock. So like La Ronde, if you saw that vlog, I wasn't banking on being able to ride this. So otherwise, to be honest, I would have maybe spent the entire day here. But now that I was able to ride this, definitely gonna take advantage and get some rides that I've missed from the last 4 years. If you've seen my vlog from this day for the last few times when I was too big to fit Orion, then you'll see I basically did all of the rides that normally get a line on a normal day that I do like one time a year, you know, like stunt coaster and and Vertigo, which is closed today, the Bat, things like that. So I'm still gonna try to be able to get all of those in, but now that I can get back on this, definitely gonna grab another ride while I'm over here. Even just to be back in this queue again after a long 4 years of coming to the park, looking at this and telling myself next year we'll lose the weight. I missed you, queue theming said. But yeah, walking right up. Have full trains. I mean, absolutely amazing. Well, I decided to just go ahead and do a row 8 because it was open, and you know what? That wasn't very rough at all. It wasn't perfectly smooth, but good to see how this thing is aging. And yeah, back row ride. It's a great way to see how it's aging. Well, it's about 5:15, so let's go ahead and get a front row ride and then carry on and hopefully come back eventually later. Well, that was my first time in the front since 2021, and man, the wind in your face, I mean, I couldn't see through some parts of that. That helix is a little intense over there, but that transition right there, right into that final element is really, that was running really intense today. I've actually never, I don't remember noticing it right there, but I mean, wow, that was intense and a great ride. And they're just gonna keep sending trains fast. So, you know what, if that's my last ride I get tonight, that's fine, but there's so many other rides we can do in an empty park, so let's keep going. Now, of course, you guys saw the Orion line. You know, it's not a big line, but I think it still says a lot about how big of a company P&G is, with the fact that this park is not a complete ghost town. There's still so many families, and I think that's why some of the thrill rides don't have lines, because it's such a family, you know, oriented day for their workers. But yeah, definitely a big company. Well, heading back towards the front, hopefully we're gonna get on Banshee here soon, but I do want to get on the Racer. I'm not sure if it had any extensive retracking work done, but let's do the red and the blue side and see which one's running smoother. Like I was saying, both sides of the Racer are open. You know, you would think with a day with such low crowds, they would close the side, but no. This park is running full operations, and having been to Cedar Point a few times this year, I think Kings Island definitely has the cake when it comes to operations compared to those two parks. Well, that's both sides of Racer. You know what? I would say the blue side is running a little bit rougher, but I remember in my Michigan's Adventure vlog, I originally called Shivering Timbers a bigger version of Racer, but with more airtime. You know what? I'm gonna stick towards that. I think that says, you know, how good the airtime moments on Racer are. Obviously, Shivering Timbers, the much better ride, but that ride was running rough, but it's got some great airtime. You know what? I still like both sides of that more than Mystic Timbers, which, if you count both sides as coasters, I think that puts Mystic as like my 7th favorite ride in this park. And you know what? I might even skip Mystic today to keep getting rides on other rides. We'll see what we have time to do, but let's head towards the front of the park. Now on to another ride that I would normally not take the time to do during a normal operating day, and that is Adventure Express. Now I'm really just coming on this because we just rethemed it. So I want to take a ride on it and see if all of the effects that were redone are still working. And yeah, I'll let you guys know. So of course we've got all the new theming in the station, and yeah, sorry if you can tell that I'm trying not to have as many clips as normal, especially on some of these less minor rides. I'm trying not to keep this vlog from being insanely long. Well, that was Adventure Express. That is such a good aero mine train. There's definitely some aero jank to that, but the theming, you know, for the most part, it's working. There's a couple of those guys in the last tunnel that aren't moving anymore, but, you know, I bet that's just a pain to keep all of them up and running. But yeah, just a great mine train. You know what, if there was actually like a section after that final lift hill, that would kind of be like a Beast, but with steel tubular track. So definitely a great ride. And yeah, we'll get on the Beast later. I think I forgot to say, the park closes at 9. They buy the park out on Saturday and Sunday. Today is Sunday. It closes at 10 o'clock on Saturday, which is why I normally at least get a night ride on the Beast. But yeah, they close at 9 today, so won't be able to get any pitch black rides tonight. All right, now heading into Action Zone. There's actually 3 rides I want to do, but I think one is closed, as you can see peeking up over there. But first is Banshee. Haven't been on this in a few years either, so can't wait to get back on this. And good to be back in this queue. Now this is actually my most ridden coaster of all time, and it's because this is normally what the queue was like. Before Orion opened up here, I would come a lot just to do this and Diamondback. And I would really do this a lot because up until recently, this was the best crew at Kings Island. I mean, they would send trains so fast that you would be almost cresting the lift hill in slow mode because the train before you hadn't made it to the brake run yet. And yeah, so I would just marathon this ride so much. So I can't wait to get back on this. This was actually my favorite ride here before Orion opened. It's still my second favorite ride, so let's see how it's running. It's always been a little bit of a rough one, so let's take a look. And that was Banshee. Now I said I'd done that more recently than the other ones because that one actually has larger seats in rows 4 and 5. So if you're using me to determine what you can ride on, that one's more accessible. Anyways, though, reviewing the ride, I mean, from the bottom of that, not the first drop, from the bottom of this dive loop right there, you are really feeling G-forces at the bottom of every single element after. I mean, you just feel the blood rush to your feet. This is definitely the most intense ride here at the park, but it definitely rattles through the layout pretty bad. But hey, I still love it for how intense it is. Now, right across from Banshee, we've got the Bat, which is one of the rides that I would class as one of the rides that I need to do at least once every year. And this is the perfect day to do it, especially because we don't know how much longer we have with this Aerodynamics Classic, you know, especially with Vertigo possibly being down for the rest of its life cycle, which we will talk about once I get over there. But yeah, we don't know how much longer we've got with the Bat. And again, you can see, looks like there's a maze right there. So they are getting ready. Is there not another maze in the Son of Beast station like there normally is? I'm not sure, but yeah, let's get our ride. Let's start this long queue walk to the Bat. As it starts going down its main drop there, I mean, just look at the big plot of land that this ride occupies that they could put something in. Now, of course, I would much rather them fill the Vortex plot of land, and we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get over there. But yeah, still walking to the entrance. Let's take a look at this, a completely empty station.
Welcome back to the Batcave. That was that like sounds amazing. When I come to a pulling, please stop here. Let's follow the train section.
Well, that was a front row and a back row ride on the Bat. Now that thing is showing its age just a little bit. It's not as smooth as it used to be, but I'll tell you what, I don't know what the max speed on that thing is, but it feels like one of the fastest rides in the park, the way it just zooms throughout its layout and doesn't really slow down. But yeah, I got off that thing and I'm a little bit dizzy. I'm getting a little older, guys. For those of you who have been longtime subscribers, you remember I would come to the park for early entry in the morning, do as many rides as I could for a couple hours, and I would drive back to college, do some homework, watch some football, and then drive back to the park for the night. So yeah, got to get back to those old days. Yeah, just look at how much this thing needs a repaint. Who knows if it'll ever get it or not as it comes by. Oh, it's amazing how quiet it is. But a nice power wash would do well as for the ride. To be honest, this track looks like the new gen Vekoma track, so it'd be nice if Vekoma started like making parts for these kinds of rides to keep these things alive longer. But yeah, who knows how many years we've got. So much prime real estate right here. Now walking up to one of the rides that I make sure I use this day to get my one ride of the year on is in Vertigo. Now I really hope that this ride is not closed forever. I say Banshee is the most intense ride in the park because of the pure duration that you get high G forces from. But this moment right here, this vertical loop, if you sit not on this side of the train, but on the very back of the train. So you're at the very top for the first lift hill, but you're at the bottom for the second lift hill. You fly through that loop. You do not even feel it slow down. And the blood rush you get to your feet there is absolutely insane. But yeah, really hoping I didn't get a copyright strike because of that music. Something else that's really unfortunate about P&G Day is that because I didn't use my pass to get in, I can't use my dining plan or my drink plan, and it's really, really hot today, so I would love a nice cold drink. But yeah, no Chicken Shack for me today. Well, people seem to be clearing out of the park, probably because they've got to be back at work at P&G tomorrow morning, or kids have got to go back to school. So gonna head to the other side of the park and get on some more rides. Well, it would have been really cool if they kept this open for P&G Day, but of course this ride has already had its final day. Did it a lot when I was a kid. I don't remember when the last time I did it was, but hey, looking forward to a new dark ride here. Well, just 2 hours remaining till park close on P&G Day. And of course I said I hadn't done Orion in 4 years. That means I haven't done Diamondback in 4 years because they have the exact same seating configuration. So let's go get a ride on this. Also been so long. Well, it's great to be back in this queue, and if I'm able to do this, I'll complete the B&M trifecta. Yeah, don't do that. Well, that was a back row ride on Diamondback. Definitely as rattly as I remember it being, but let's go try it again in the front. I personally remember liking the front better on this ride. There's definitely some great pullover in the back, but on the front, I remember getting like pushed into and some great airtime. So let's go see. Also, for some reason, that was way tighter than Orion was, that seat I just got on Diamondback. So maybe they're not all made equal. What a good dispatch. You can see that train just now doing the helix. So hey, not Diamond Stack right now at least.
It's fast, it's flying, just like dodgeball. It's way better than the Orion. Up on your side and back. See ya. Orion's on the platform. Please hit this sign down the skirt and all those articles. Things they're not riding with you can go to the open bed. Welcome back, guys. How was it? Wow.
All right, well, that was a front row ride on Diamondback. You know what? I normally say the reason I like the front is because the wind in your face, which is absolutely true. But on Diamondback, I definitely prefer the airtime in the front too. I feel like it's just stronger and lasts longer than just getting pulled over at the back half of those hills. Now, my review of Diamondback stays the same. The first half is stellar, but I could literally take a nap throughout the entire second half. So for that, I would take the drop alone on Orion better than all of Diamondback. With time running down, I think I'm gonna stick Mystic Timbers. I will make sure I come back and do it next year. Just look at those empty seats. And the last main coaster today. Not the last ride I'm doing, but the last main coaster. Let's do the Beast, excuse me. The Beast. Now this got some great retracking done this off season. So ever since the first time, this ride's been more and more popular. So it never seems to not have a line like it used to for years and years. So one thing that I said in my video where I first tried it, I said, I wonder if the back has some more airtime now that they removed one of the trims on the first part of the ride. So let's do the back and see, and then go around and do the front. And this is why I normally use this night to get multiple night rides on the Beast. But hey, they close at 9, let's at least get 2 rides.
Welcome back to number 3 out, 1 minute.
Well, that was the second to back row on the Beast. And you know what? I expected that to be a lot rougher. I'm actually really surprised by how smooth that was. Definitely beats it up in that second part of the helix, but felt a lot better than I thought it was going to. There are a few floater moments of airtime on that first half. Now that, you know, they removed that one section of trims and did some reprofile work, but that long tunnel feels like a block break, the way there's now two sets of trims and you feel both of them hit. I mean, it almost feels like you're going to slow down. You might be able to tell that the quality's dipped a little bit. And for some reason, I know the iPhone 17 is coming out like really, really soon, but I have the 16 Pro Max and I'm really disappointed with the way the camera acts in low light. Like, it'll slow down the frame rate and it'll get more blurry. I have no clue why, but yeah, just bear with me for the rest of this video. It's really starting to get a little dark now. Yeah, especially as it gets dark. For those of you who've done that right, you know this starts filling up fast, but not today. So let's go get a front row ride on this. It's starting to get a little darker, but even when the park closed at 10, when I would come on these days, the only pitch dark night rides you would get started at like 9:20. So not gonna get any of those today. Look at this station. Man, I wish they closed at 10 today. As you can see, well, the nighttime mode doesn't show it very well, but it is getting dark. So that was the Beast in the front. I was just told a very important piece of information, and that is that P&G paid for the fireworks show. So the Beast is gonna close at 8:30, which is actually ridiculous, by the way. It used to only close 15 minutes before the fireworks show, and then it was 20, and I guess now it closes 30 minutes before the show. But it's gonna close at 8:30, wait for the show to be over, and then I guess at like 9:20, 9:30, whenever that's over, they're gonna open it back up. So if I can time it up, I can maybe get a night ride. So let's go do these two last remaining rides I wanna do. So the last coaster I wanna use today to make sure I get my one ride of the season on a ride on is Backlot Stunt Coaster. Now this isn't Backlot Stunt Coaster anymore, it's Queen City Stunt Coaster. Especially because I went to school in Cincinnati, it'll be really cool to see what the new theming is, and yeah, let's see how it rides. Now, because this is like our family thrill coaster and it's got to launch this thing, well, normally the line will always be longer than this bridge and start coming over here. So yeah, it's great to see that it's walk on. So the last time I did a semi night ride on that was actually like my first P&G day ever in like 2018, I want to say. That was awesome at night to see the lights of the police cars. You know, everything was more vibrant. The sad part is that whole scene right there, there's no helicopter shooting at you. You literally don't know what's going on. You just sit there. There's no fire. There's nothing. That is such a poor state for this ride to be in, and I've never seen it be like this. Now it looks like it's as bad as the other two stunt coasters in the chain, which is actually really, really sad. But I'm going to say something a little controversial. I think now that Top Thrill Dragster is gone and Wicked Twister, that this ride has the best first launch in the state of Ohio. I mean, that thing has some punch to it. So yeah, just got a back row ride. Want to head over, let's do one ride in the dusk on Orion and then head back to the Beast and see if we can get a night ride. Yeah, I'm really not happy with the nighttime mode, especially on the face cam setting. But the only time I ever got a night ride on Vortex, I had just gotten a night ride on the Beast, I believe, on my first P&G day, which was today, of course, 5 probably years ago, or however long ago it was. And I did the Vortex in the front row at night, and it was so fun. So yeah, just another memory from P&G night. Oh, look at this. I don't know how to turn this nighttime mode off because it is a lot darker than it looks on camera right now. I can't wait to get this ride on Orion. So if you saw my vlog at Waldameer where I rode with Green Flyer 2, I said at night, the park sort of reminded me as one big Coney Mall section at night because everything started lighting up. And I mean, well, I guess it's a little dark now. I guess they don't have all the lights on yet, but when you got lighting packages like that and like that, it sure comes alive at night. Well, look at this and the music, and it's darker than it is on camera, just trust me. I mean, I would say it's very, very close to being a night ride. Orion actually has my favorite night ride in the park. The Beast, don't get me wrong, has an amazing night ride, but after you go past that strip of light, you plunge into darkness and just all the wind in your face. Orion is my favorite night ride, so let's get one ride on this. Sorry for this laggy night face cam, but they just told me that there is no show, so maybe if I go back to Beast, I can still get a pretty dark night ride. But yeah, that's really interesting. It seems not to be a consensus on whether there's a fireworks show or not tonight. Before today, 4 years ago, my last ride on Orion was in the dark. It was the last hour of the last operating day of the season in 2021. So yeah, I am glad to get back on a night ride. Here's what we got. I do not know. It is not that bright out. Just trust me out. Maybe I'll try to take a picture to show you guys how dark it actually is. So threw the picture in there so you can see that it is indeed pitch black. And you know what? Now that makes sense. I was wrong about when it gets pitch black. Now it makes sense because I said I was able to marathon Beast night rides. Sorry for this bad nighttime front-facing camera shot, but Orion in the front at night. I mean, you literally drop into an abyss. Like, you can barely see the bottom of the drop. There's wind in your face. It's been running all day, so it's warmed up. Amazing. Man, did I miss that ride, and I'm glad I was able to get back on it today. Well, we've got a little bit of light, but I guess P&G didn't pay for the full Coney Mall light package for it to be lit up. Yeah, because it's pitch black here. Let's head to the Beast. All right, so the time is 8:40. It's not coming out in the camera, but it's pitch black. Let's head around this corner to the most famous night ride in the world. So this is really weird, and I have no clue what's going on. They are suspended for a show that the Orion crew just told me is not gonna happen. So let's wait up here and let's see what happens. It does look like we have a small queue of people waiting as well. So it's really weird that they haven't let people go to the rows, but as you can see, we got a queue there and a queue there. So there's gonna be at least 2 trains. So of course I'm gonna try and go for the front. There is at least drone. So they did get the drone show. Oh, you can't see it, but you can hear it. So they did get fireworks and drones. So I'm not sure what the Orion crew ended up doing. And at 9:22, they are opening it up for us to select our seats. Yeah. So we got more than 1 train's worth. So I'm good to wait here for our front. Officially last train of the night. Well, that was that. Again, I don't know why the camera doesn't make it look like it's as dark as it is, excuse me, but it is pitch black. I'll talk about that experience here in a second. I've done a lot of night rides on the Beast, and you know what? I really thought those trims in the tunnel would kill it and make it not as good as it normally is. Although that tunnel did end up ruining because they left the maintenance lights on in that tunnel, so that was really the only part that there was light. But I've never had a night ride that was as dark as that ride. I mean, you couldn't see more than 10 feet of the track in front of you. It was pitch black in those tunnels. You couldn't see your hand in front of your face. I mean, that was phenomenal. Like I said, I've done many night rides. That was awesome. I do think actually it is better in the front on that retract section. You did get a couple, pops of floater on that, but wow, that was amazing. Didn't expect to get a Beast night ride. It is 9:38, so let's head home. Everybody's got to work, and that includes me in the morning. So this is the group in front of me. We were all 1 train, so they only sent 2 trains after. And what was unfortunate is there was people waiting in the exit. So of course they wanted the front row. So they only really sent 1 train. Luckily the guy was lucky enough to let me ride with them. But yeah, we are the only ones in this park right now. So let's find our way out. So if you've made it, sorry, there's a security guard walking behind me, ushering us all out. If you've made it to this far in the vlog, you get to know first that I am heading back to California's Great America with a couple of good friends of mine. So stay tuned for those videos. Yeah, if you've made it to this far, I appreciate you. As you guys can see, I've been coming to this park for years. I've got vlogs with Firehawk, and as you heard me say, I've got night rides on Vortex and so many rides, and now Boo Blasters is gone. So yeah, this park changes. This park has changed so much since I started going here as a kid. Over 15 years I've been going to this park, and to be able to come here on a day where it's closed to the public, I'm just so thankful. I don't know if you can tell, but Diamondback's got its trains already parked in storage, so that ride is done for the night. That's how long we were waiting. So yeah, I don't know what happened at Orion. I don't know if they scrambled to close the ride once they saw the fireworks were actually open, because they didn't anticipate that they were gonna, happen or what. But that was very weird that nobody really seemed to know if there were fireworks or not. As you can see, we were gonna say goodbye to the Bounty paper towels as well as the Pepto-Bismol bottle on our way out. As you see, it's stripped back there, Orion and Diamondback. First time back on those. in 4 years. So glad to have gotten back on those. Now, as I'm making my way to the entrance, I just want to take a moment to give motivation to anybody who's like me. Some of you may have no idea what I'm talking about, but for those of you guys who have had to take that walk of shame, or you've worried about whether or not you can fit in roller coasters, I've gone through the same thing, and I'm really glad that after 4 years, I lost 40 pounds since the last season here. I was able to get back on some of my favorite rides. I mean, just use this hobby as your motivation, and you can do it. Now, it's really unfortunate I couldn't see the drone and fireworks show, because on a normal day, you'd be very pressed to find any seats in this front area, because that's, of course, the best viewing area. The drones are right there, then the fireworks are on the left side of the Eiffel Tower. But yeah, because we were in the beast queue, we really couldn't see it at all. Look at this empty parking lot that we're leaving to. You'll never see it like this, even if you leave after a Beast Night ride, because there'd be traffic getting out. But yeah, I'm tired. I gotta drive home now. Well, that is going to do it for P&G Day 2025. What a great day. So glad to get back on some of my rides. If you guys heard parks that you want to see vlogs from, when I was talking in the start of this vlog, like LaRon, California's Great America, Holiday World, Michigan's Adventure, I'll create a playlist with all of those videos. But yeah, it's been a great summer. My name is Will. You guys can call me Tate. I read every single comment I get, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Can you catch me now?